Oh, what a lad. Well, as I try and do every year on What a Lad, is to finish the seasons with one of the all-time greats. And here we are at the end of season 4 with one of the very best. He's a Waikato and Chiefs legend who's played over 100 times for his beloved franchise, while over the last 8 years he's been a very consistent name in the mighty All Blacks, heading to 2 Rugby World Cups, and he's won plenty of trophies along the way. He's also someone who's openly spoken about some of the struggles that come along with being a professional rugby player, and he is the ultimate lad. It is, of course, the legend himself, Anton Lienert-Brown. Welcome, mate.
Jimmy Ma, what an intro. Thanks very much. Probably the best I've ever had. Done a few podcasts in my time.
You have, yeah.
Appreciate the kind words.
Mate, well, it's one thing that I did mention there, but one thing I have always tried to do on this podcast is to get guys to open up and share a little bit more than you usually do. But I feel like that's something that you've always done. I feel like you're a bit of a trailblazer in that space. You've done it ever since I can remember. Why do you think that is, or how did you get that?
Yeah, I guess in the mental health space, really passionate with it, about it. And I think, early on in my career, I went through some struggles, like every professional rugby player does, or everyone in life. But got to, a pretty dark stage that I've spoken about, probably between the age of 18 and 20, and sort of come out the other side. And as they say, as the old cliche says, a stronger man. And from there, I've been really passionate about, especially talking about mental health.
So were you comfortable speaking about your struggles and stuff from a young age, or was it just after that you felt, I'm comfortable talking about this, I want to help others? Or
I've never been comfortable about talking about it, even if we will go into depth about it today. It's never like a thing that comes natural to me, but it's more that I care about other people, and it's probably that care that makes me want to talk about it, because I just want to share my experience, and hopefully at least one person can be like, oh, I've had that as well, and they can relate.
I think that's the beauty of why I've loved doing this podcast as well, because I get that feedback after every episode of when people share and open up and they're vulnerable, how much that helps. It's crazy how many people are going through something that you wouldn't even think of, and them hearing, especially superstars of the game like yourself, sharing your journey and what you've been through is always so powerful. So very cool.
Thanks, bro.
But I'm looking forward to it, because I know all journeys are roller coasters. Everyone I've had on's had some sort of roller coaster ups and downs through their rugby career, and I mean yours is no different. And even the latest Rugby World Cup was no different for you either, really. Like, you guys had your highs, your lows. What do you remember? What's your memories of that Rugby World Cup?
Oh, yeah, man, it still hurts right now. But, man, memories, probably until about, right up until we lost it.
Yeah.
Memories are awesome. Obviously, I went over in 2019, we were the favourites, and pretty much every All Black team up until that stage, up until this year, had gone in as favourites.
Yeah.
People expect you to win. So this one was a little bit different. We went in with, I guess, people doubting us, people saying they won't get past the quarterfinal type thing. And yeah, it was just really cool. It brought us closer as a team, and man, we had some of my best moments as a rugby player, experiences, just being around the boys, getting in tight, and man, it was so fun. And I think the other thing was we're so far away from home that it just felt like it was just us and the family. Obviously, we felt the support back home, but only on social media, not by being around people. Yeah. So that's a different feeling.
Yeah, obviously the first game was a massive one against France. Unreal atmosphere, looked incredible to be there. What do you remember about that one?
Yeah, I just remember the build up, and it's the biggest opening game ever.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit of a shame that France went out. But yeah, just the atmosphere, the hype around the game really was the biggest game I've ever been a part of in the lead up.
Yeah, jeez. And then you obviously had a few, I guess, they weren't really lesser games. You made them lesser games, especially like the Italy game. Everyone was thinking it could be like a type banana skin game. But, man, that was a game where you guys just put on an absolute clinic.
Yeah, once we lost to France, obviously we got through Namibia, and then, we were really nervous for that Italy game.
Yeah.
In all honesty, we never, you always, when you're in the black jersey, you always want to play well, but never before, for myself and a lot of other boys, have we felt so nervous playing an Italian team. We knew that we had to win, and we knew they were a good side, and to put out a performance like that was pretty special, and sort of everything come together.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Namibia game. Talk to me about that try, mate. One of the all-time greats. Rob for try of the year, sure.
Oh, mate. I've been going to, ever since I started with the All Blacks, and I get shit for it, but I've been going to kicking sessions every Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And the reason for it is because sort of my best mates are Damo, Bodie and Geordie, and they're always there. So
yeah,
I just like a little kid, you love just kicking the ball around and kicking goals and stuff like that. So I just stay behind, and it's been a long time coming. It's probably my third ever kick in the All Blacks, and I always say 8 years of practice. There it was.
Worth every minute of the kicking practice. But you were playing a fair bit of wing in that Rugby World Cup. Were you comfortable out on the wing? Do you enjoy playing on the wing?
No. Man, this is in me and Damo laughed after the game, but in my opinion, and it just made sense for me to go into the midfield and probably push Rico to the wing, because he was the best winger in the world not too long ago.
Yeah.
But the coaches had other ideas, and obviously as a player, you just do as you're told.
Yeah.
But so in that Ireland game, Berdinoka, he calls up the subs, and he goes to me, "Oh, Anton, you go on the wing, left wing for Leicester." Obviously the game's tight.
Yeah. And
I go to him, no, we'll put Rico on the wing, eh? And he goes, "Nah, mate, you're on the wing." I was like, brilliant. And you wing roles, you got it's quite complicated.
Yeah.
There's all these different roles, and I was going on, and they had a line out 5 meters out from the try line.
Yeah.
And it's a different setup for a winger, as you'll know, all those rugby terms. So I went on, and I think it was straight away, it was like a yellow card penalty try. But anyways, it ended up all working out.
Yeah.
It was, I think Nuggy put up one high ball for me. Haven't tried to catch a high ball at training, and never, and I missed it.
So you're never expecting to go on as a winger?
No. Basically, there was
what if?
It was a what if. Yeah. No, I knew that it was a chance.
Yeah.
And I just ended up going on the wing, and then probably in Foz's mind, he didn't want to change too many people around, which is fair enough. And I guess staying on the wing is a little bit like staying at centre. So that's where that's probably the reason they put me on the wing, was sort of knowing how to D there.
Yeah. And that was some game. That was, I think, the best game I think I've ever watched of footy. That was just incredible. Were you always confident, or what are you thinking while you're out there in those, especially those last sort of dying moments?
You honestly, you get out there, and as you know, Jimmy Marr, it's, when you sit on the bench, that's when you have all your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then, I always say, it's easy to start the game because you're just straight out there. You're not thinking. But when you're sitting on the bench,
you're thinking.
You're like, holy. And then you're thinking, well, don't chuck me on the wing right now. And they do. But you run out there, and I think I was out there for 18 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's all a blur.
Mm.
You're out there just playing footy, and everything was all right. But that was, to experience that one, to be out there, and how they went 37 phases and all that stuff. And to sort of be written off, and I think, in my opinion, Ireland were the best team in the world, but we always spoke about at Rugby World Cup, it's not always the best team in the world wins, it's the best team on the day. And we just nudged them out on the day. We were just 1% better than them, so that's how tight World Cups can be.
Yeah, mate, so true. And then talk to me about the final, obviously. Another game, like, obviously so gutted about the loss, but you watch that and you just can't help but feel really proud of the effort that everyone put in that performance. Like, you speak about the 1%, so that was like 0.1% of that game. Like, what do you remember about that one?
I remember going, so against Ireland, went on the left wing. Against South Africa, went on the right wing. That was another, like, mean moment. But again, you get out there and it's all good. But yeah, it wasn't like, it's hard to digest. But I think, as a rugby player, in most players in the All Blacks are experienced, you get really good with, heartache, and obviously that's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it was tight, and I know odds were sort of stacked against us, and things didn't go our way, and that's just rugby. Like, rugby's not fair, and that to win a World Cup, doesn't matter what happens, you've got to overcome that. And unfortunately, we didn't. But yeah, like, straight after the game it was that realization. I think one of the boys said it, but when George Gregan said 4 more years, the infamous saying, like, that's when you're like, wow, well, hopefully all going well, it's 4 more years till you get an opportunity to play for a World Cup, and not only play for a World Cup, like, it doesn't guarantee that you'll be in the same situation again, because you know how hard it is to get to a final. And it's it was so close, but it's so far away.
Yeah. So comparing that game, like, obviously you've been to 2 Rugby World Cups already. Comparing that loss in the final compared to the one against England in the semi-final, how does that compare? Like, what's the difference?
Thinking about it, is probably going out in semi-final was easier, even though it sucked. But, like, losing a final, like, really, really hurts, because you're that step closer. But the thing as well was England just completely outplayed us. Like, we were well and truly beat in that semi-final, whereas in the final it was, like you said, it was close. And still, with what went on, like, we still had an opportunity, and I'd say those are the 2 differences. Going out of final is harder, and playing a game where you could have won, that's harder as well.
Mate, it's awesome insight. I feel like I've just come off the Rugby World Cup. I feel like I just played there.
Oh, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's all that we care about. So one thing I always try and do is go through the whole journey from the start. I know you're a Christchurch boy. They call you the one that got away around here. But talk to me about your upbringing here in Christchurch.
Yeah, I grew up next to the Rickon Racecourse.
Oh, did you?
Maybe that's where I get my love for racing. But it actually wasn't until I moved up north, and until I started really getting into my horse racing. But I grew up there, which was awesome. We had a big backyard and could pop over to the racecourse and would play touch there. Like, always walk the dog. And man, that place has changed like crazy. It was just like a big paddock, but now there's all these houses around there and stuff. But
you obviously have your older brother. What was your guys' relationship growing up?
Oh, it was good. It was a lot of fights.
Was it?
Like, a lot of competition.
Is it just you two?
Oh, we got an older sister as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically how it worked was Dan would beat me up, and then I'd tell my older sister.
Yeah.
And she'd beat Dan up. So that was the cycle of life that went on in the household. But I think, like, for a young boy especially, like, having an older brother is awesome, because you want to do everything they do. And I think, in a way, like, you get an opportunity to try harder, or you get to see what they do. Like, when he started playing rugby, I think I started playing rugby. I was like young. I was too young to play, but I still played because I wanted to do what he did.
Yeah.
So I guess that always gave me the opportunity to start things earlier. But yeah, we had an awesome upbringing. Like, as you can imagine, big backyard. We'd two, we call them cousins, but they're family friends. Sort of same age, Raymond and Tavita. So they'll be around every weekend. We'll play 2-on-2 rugby in the backyard, then go inside knee rugby, then play PlayStation. We'll be playing cricket.
Yeah.
And that's like, I guess having a big brother, like, you get to do those things.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you look back on it, all those games you played, like, it all adds up, right? Like, it's all those, I guess, what do they call, like, 10,000 hours that you, as a kid, are just having fun.
Yeah. Were you good, like, from a young age?
No, I wasn't. No, well, compared to other people, like, I wasn't, like, probably the best example was I played at Marist Albion from under fives with Richie Monga. And from 5 years old, like, obviously you don't have a lot of memory, but that guy's always been a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
And back then I was actually playing prop.
Oh, I was thinking 10-12 combo from way back, but prop 10.
I was playing prop from about 5 to 13.
Were you? You and your brother?
Yeah, me and my brother. I sort of played like prop hooker.
We're quite a big unit.
Went through stages.
Yeah.
Like those kid stages.
Yeah.
Used to love eating condensed milk after school. Like,
did you?
Thrashing that.
Just a tin of it?
Just a tin of it.
Jeez, that's good stuff.
White bread and chocolate chips in the microwave. So
the true Nutella.
Put on a few kegs and then,
that'll get you.
Yeah. So yeah, I was actually a prop. So I guess when you say was I good in terms of like what backs did, I was actually playing prop.
Yeah.
But I always dreamt of playing the backs.
You're a good prop.
Yeah, I think I was a good prop. There you go.
But then you dreamt of becoming a back, and then you somehow manifested that to move to the back line.
Yep.
How did that come about?
So
less condensed milk.
I actually, I went through a growth spurt, and I was like short, chubby, and then I sort of like thinned out. But how it come about was in year 12, so my year 9 going to boys high. So in year 12, I was still a prop. Played Canterbury under 65s as a loose head prop or something like that, under 12s. And then the next year I went to league, and I was like, well, new sport, I'm just going to go play centre.
Oh, true.
Yes, I did 1 year at league for the Celebration Lions. Managed to thin out a bit. Yeah. Enjoyed it at centre, and I come back to boys high and just was like, I'm just going to play 12.
Yeah. How'd you go at league? Pretty good.
Yeah, I actually went all right. Yeah. I made the Canterbury sides. And
yeah. Was it ever an option to play league?
Not really. No. Like going to Christchurch Boys High School. Yeah. It wasn't really an option, but it was probably like a pinnacle moment in my life because like I sort of went to Boys High and they knew I'd played like Canterbury under 65s as a prop. So if I played under 9s, they would have kept me as a prop. Yeah. I went to league and went to the back. So
made the switch. Yeah, obviously Christchurch Boys High is a very well-renowned rugby school. What was it like for you being in it?
Oh, it was like one of the some of the best memories I've had. My older cousin, or those cousins I was talking about, we played rugby with all the time. Tavita, he was playing first 15 my first year. I had no idea like what it was about or like how many people went to games. But yeah, in year 9 went to St. Bede's versus Boys High, and there's like 3,000 people there. They had the chainsaws going and all that, and all the chants, and I just remember thinking like, this is what I want to do. This, I want to be in the first 15 one day. Yeah.
So did you change anything? Like, were you training hard? What were you doing to make it? Did you set goals, or was it just pretty gradual?
Yeah, I did. Probably like when I got to year 10, I set goals, and I actually remember I had a book. I don't know, like it would have been after a Canterbury meeting or whatever. Someone come in and said set goals. So I'd set goals from like, it was like over an 8-year period.
Oh, yeah.
I think I chucked the book out.
Yeah.
But like from memory, almost every step I set my goal at, like I made it. Like, yeah.
It's crazy, eh? It's crazy how that works.
So yeah, and then I played a lot of sevens.
Yeah.
Dad would take us along to like senior men's sevens. So I did that from 14 years old. And I started playing like senior men's sevens in year 12. So
true.
that also helped.
Yeah. And any games that stand out in your schoolboy days? Obviously, I think you would have been playing against Damien at Christ and all those boys. Who else? Richie would have been at
Richie, Fletcher Smith.
Oh yeah.
They had three gun 10s.
True, yeah.
In the same year.
Did you guys win the comp?
We won the comp in my year 13 year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But games that stuck out, probably winning the Press Cup against Beads. That was pretty special at Rugby Park.
Oh, the memories.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then what was from there? Somehow you end up in Waikato and with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Yeah. So it was before a traditional game, and Miss Taylor called him at the time. He was the headmaster of the hostel, and he said, he called me in and he'd coached me like in the under 14s, and he said, after the game, someone wants to meet you. I'll take him to you. I was like, sweet as. Played the game, and so Wayne Smith come down and watch a traditional at Christ College, and he come down to watch me, and he also saw Damo at the same time.
Oh, true.
But yeah, so I spoke to Smithy after the game, and then he come around and spoke to my parents, and he talked about like where he sees me at the Chiefs, and said like he'll look after us, which he look after me, which he does. Like he's a very genuine man. But that teacher, Mr. Taylor, he said, you do whatever this man tells you.
Oh, true.
So, and I had a lot of respect for him. So
he was at the Chiefs at the time, not the All Blacks.
He was at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I just pretty much said, I'll do what Smithy says, and ended up moving up north. And the next year, Damo come up as well.
True.
And James Tucker, who was playing for St. Bede's.
Yeah. Did they make a case for you to stay here? Like, obviously not many people leave the Crusader Canterbury type academy setups, but did they make a play for you, obviously?
They did, but like probably after
too late.
Smithy and Chase. Chase made an offer, and you're totally right. Like it was actually, I think James Tucker, Damo, and myself were actually like the first guys to leave.
Oh, really?
So Guz is a different story because he like wasn't really getting picked, or like they didn't want him here, so he left. Yeah. But we're actually like 3 players that they wanted around, and we left up to the Chiefs. But Smithy's actually like, he was the one that started the scouting system in Canterbury and the Crusaders, and that's how they ended up with so much talent. So you got the grassroots talent, but they're also pulling talent from all over the country. So like the system, it was hard to beat the system here because you've got so many good players, and obviously the cream rises to the top. But like the pool they had to choose from was outstanding, and so Smithy obviously started it here. It was really successful. Then obviously went to the Chiefs. He's like, well, I'm going to start doing it back there. Yeah. So he started pulling talent from all over the country.
He's obviously got a really good eye for talent too. So that must have given you a heap of confidence as a young fella, that knowing that Wayne Smith, a legendary coach, has seen something in you that he's going to back and trust and give you this sort of plan to see where you're going to get to.
Yeah, 100%. Like, probably when you asked me before, was I good? Like, I worked really hard at school, and like the harder I worked, the more opportunities I got, and I played better, but I wasn't like a naturally like talented superstar. Like, for example, like a like a Richie Mo'unga who obviously trains hard, but in school days he could, his talent just got him through. So that was probably the first time in my life, having someone like him saying, "Oh, we want you up the Chiefs. Like, I think you're a really good player." That was like a shock for me, like, because even in year 12, like I was starting, but I wasn't sort of a superstar. Then year 13, I was having a really good year. So it wasn't like from under fives I'd been carving out.
Yeah.
It was really in this year 13 year having a really good year. Then Wayne Smith come by and I was sort of gobsmacked.
Yeah, it's cool how it can change so quickly, footy, like you said, like 1 minute you're just an average first 15 player, and then next, like 2 years later, you're playing on the wing for the Chiefs in a debut game, Like that all happened so fast for you,
Yeah, it did. And in my last game at school, I dislocated my shoulder, so I went up north and I just tried to rehab it, and then I come back for club and I dislocated again. So finished school, and then my first year up at the Chiefs or in Waikato, I was injured for the whole year, so missed the whole year out.
How hard was that for you mentally? Like everyone says, like when they go to a new environment, especially as a young fella who's been backed by Wayne Smith, how hard is it for you to turn up and not be able to show your worth?
Yeah, it was tough, like, because when you move somewhere, like, you don't have the credit, like, no one knows you.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows if you're any good or not. So you're sort of up there, you can't play, so how do you prove yourself?
Yeah.
But we had actually, in Waikato, we had a really good academy, and, like, we stuck strong. But, I just had this, like, mentality that the only way I was going to prove myself was to train real hard. So got through that, like, did all my rehab, like, trained real hard all through that year, didn't play any code. And that sort of gave me the opportunity to be picked for the Chiefs wider training group in 2014.
Sure.
And so I finished school a year and a half out, and a year and a half later I was playing on the wing for my first competition game.
Yeah. Never played men, like no club, no MPC. So, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
and was it the Bulls over there?
Yeah, the Bulls.
Far out.
So
what an experience for a young fella.
Yeah, that's probably where demons come from, being on the wing. That's probably when you ask on the wing in the World Cup. It's like,
just remembering the debut. Did you go no good?
Are you trying to destroy me?
Was the debut no good?
It was all right. I think your brother Tojo was playing.
Oh,
I think he was at 12.
You guys would have had some combo.
Yeah, so I was on the wing. Tojo was at 12. Hey, look, it wasn't my best game.
Yeah.
That was we'll just leave it there.
Did you feel it out there? Like, you said in the World Cup, like when you're out there, you're not really, you're just in it. But I mean, this is your first game against men. Are you overthinking it while you're out on the field in these moments, or?
Yeah, I think when you're young, and I'd actually played a couple of preseason games and like built my confidence. Like played pretty good. So I was like, oh sweet, like I'm prepared for this. And I think when you're young, like, that game, like you need confidence. Mm-hmm. And the first two things I did, like I think I missed a tackle and like maybe dropped a high ball or something. Mm. And then like you just go straight into your shower. Whereas like, you score a try on your first touch or something, like you're just away, like you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
And you're so vulnerable. Like the game can go either way.
Yeah.
You can either have an awesome game or you can have a shocker. Yeah. Like there's no real in between. Like as an 18-year-old on debut, like you don't really expect like a mature, just did his job performance.
Yeah.
You either go, he's going to score a hat trick, or he's going to get pulled off after 50 minutes. And I was
pulled off
after 50.
Yeah. Oh, then what are you feeling after that game?
Yeah, like pretty down in the dumps, and I was like 18 years old, and obviously growing up in footy, I thought the whole world was watching. Like, you think that rugby's like, you think rugby's everything.
100%.
It's not until you grow a little bit older, you're like, oh, like, soccer's way bigger than rugby. Like, you honestly think rugby's. So like, I was like, oh man, like, it was on TV. People think, oh fuck, this guy's shit. Like, why did they put him on the wing? But I think the hardest thing is that, like, all the older guys you look up to, you want to like prove yourself to, and for a couple of days there, I don't even want to look them in the eye, because you just feel like you let them down, or felt like I let them down.
And did you play the following week, or like?
I played the following week, off the bench.
Oh yeah,
and I actually honestly, I was pretty for that week. It's pretty down in the dumps, and as you know, like, that's footy. Like, it's like that, eh?
Yeah.
And I think when you get older, like, your emotions can stay still, but early on, like,
you're really riding it, eh?
If you have a good game, like, you're walking around like, but if you have a bad game, you're straight into your shower. So, and that week I was very much in my shower. Yeah. Didn't even want to catch a rugby ball. I was like, oh, fuck, just send me home. Going to bed, like, like, you got all the stuff in your mind. Yeah. But we went out the next week, and I think we won in like the last minute. Managed to get like a turnover and a break, and I was exactly that. Went from like being 6 feet under to 6 feet above the ground. Yeah,
crazy. So when you obviously have had throughout your career since heaps of young guys come in and join your squad, you would have seen guys on debut have moments like that. Yeah. What do you do? What's your actions to them?
Yeah, like, I always really like conscious of that fact. So that's like where my passion around mental health like is, because I experienced that young, and then obviously I know that young kids have that as well. So it's more like during the week I try get around them, just say, like, just be yourself, like, do your thing, and then depending on how things go, just like get around them after the game, because like, and everyone's different. I know there's so many different personalities in the game, but like, you can just, sometimes you're like, say in the gym, and you know how things are going, like, but you can just look at people and see like they're thinking about something. Or, if someone might have made a mistake in the weekend, you get to Monday gym, they're just staring at the wall. It's like, just go, you just go, mate, just go over and have a yarn. Say, how's it going? And it's not like going over the top, but just being conscious of it, and just, just talking to them.
Yeah, I like that. You obviously got through it pretty quickly, because I think it was, 2 years after your debut, you're named as an All Black, so that's another massive rise there.
Yeah, it was actually, debuted at 18, so it was in my third season for the Chiefs. Yeah. Got named, for the All Blacks in 2016, which was, just unbelievable, and sort of like all through like my career. Well, when I got the opportunity for the Chiefs, and then opportunity for the ABs, I felt as though like I wasn't like a superstar, or like, I wasn't really like knocking on the door, but it sort of happened. And in all fairness, like, how I got the opportunity was about 5 midfielders got injured.
Oh, true.
And that, I think Sonny, George Mala got injured, which got me into the squad. And then Ryan Crotty got injured, which gave me a start.
Oh, yeah.
So got fortunate, I guess, through their bad luck. But in the same way, like, I really felt when I got named for the All Blacks that it was like being 18 years old again, on the wing. Like, I felt as though, like, we never got my opportunity. Like, it's just been like through injuries or like out of the blue. Like, I haven't really built into this. Yeah. It's just happening. But the one promise I made to myself was that I went into my shower as an 18-year-old, and that's all I said the whole week. Like, no matter what happens, even if I, drop the ball in the first play. Like, I'm just not going to go on my shower. Like, this could be the only opportunity I ever get. Like, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. I'm just going to go out there and be free. So,
and did you what? I watched your debut. It's on YouTube. I watched it last night. Man, incredible.
Yeah, it was. This is exactly what I said before. But first touch of the ball, I threw an offload, and I didn't even know how to throw it. And maybe God was looking down on me, and Daggy's called it and scored a try. And you know, I said, like, in debuts, there was the confidence I needed. Like, there was a way. Like, I was so nervous, you know, but managed to do that in like the first 3 minutes, and then you're just like,
do you
just
think
play now.
If that was an intercept, do you feel like you would still have been in that 18-year-old Chiefs mentality where you would have probably been subbed at 15, had a bit of a shocker?
Probably,
yeah. True.
Probably be on the tools now. One pass, I'm still here. Otherwise, I was on the
8
tools.
8 years later, what a career! Well, that pass was what a pass that was. Oh, that's crazy. And like the week being an All Black, like the lead up. Yeah. How's the anxiety and like the nerves and building into those games?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it was overwhelming. Like, you know, you probably get, and this has been always one of my most special moments of my life, but is that like ringing mum and dad.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were in tears when I told them that I've been picked in the squad, and then I've told them that I'm starting. Like, they're just like bawling their eyes out. And I think for every player, like, to tell your mum and dad or someone that's a massive part of your life, like, that's one of the best moments. So you get through that, and then you get 100 text messages.
Yeah.
And then your nan and granddad are saying, like, now down at bowls, this so-and-so telling me this and that.
Yeah.
That's funny. They always say when they go to the bowls, they get told more about me than they know about me. But you got to love how much old people froth rugby.
Yeah.
And
bowls.
Yeah, and bowls. But yeah, it was just like a real awesome week, like feeling so much support. And I think, you know, in the ABs, and I always respect, you know, Kieran Reid for this, but, you know, through that week, he looked after me really well. Actually, him, Malakai Fekitoa, Aaron Smith, Jerome Kynell, like, you know, those guys, like, I looked up to. You know, like I couldn't even believe I was chucking a seed to them.
Yeah.
Or around them, let alone playing with them. So, yeah, I was just a 20-year-old kid. I was like, they're like, mate, you'll be right, just do your job. And all those like little messages just gave me so much confidence. I was like, oh, these guys have got my back. These guys I look up to, like, nothing can go wrong type feeling. I just had that sort of feeling to the week.
Hey, that's so cool. And then post that game, obviously goes well. Are you feeling comfortable in the environment after a good performance, or like what are you feeling?
You probably you feel as though that you've earned a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
And I think you feel more comfortable in the changing room.
Yeah.
And that's like walking into a changing room as a young kid, you know, being able to look at guys and being like, I did my job, or, you know, I played well, is a comforting feeling. But if there's one guy that can make you feel uncomfortable really quickly, that's Steve Hansen. and, you know, that's his magic. That's why he was so good.
Yeah.
Because, probably played a few games and got pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Everything was going well, and, you know, he just brought me straight back down to earth. Which is good.
Yeah. So he's sort of like, you know how you said the young guys are rolling the roller coaster. They get a little bit like chest out when they're playing well and real down in the dumps. He's sort of the guy who, when someone would have a bad guy, would try and pump them up. And when he saw someone with their chest out, like thought they'd, you know, a little bit better than they were, he'd shoot them down. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. His ability to read a team and to know his players is, probably, the best in the world.
Yeah.
He knew when you needed a cuddle and he knew when you needed a kick up the arse.
Yeah.
And he could, and he knows that every player is different.
Yeah.
So he'd treat them how they needed to be treated at the time.
Legend. Absolute legend. And how are you feeling, like, with all the pressure? Like, there's a lot of pressure being an All Black. You're still really young. How are you feeling? Like, how's your headspace in this time? Is this when you started to get your anxiety and your mental health issues sort of to come up?
It was actually like probably like just before that.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable to talk about this, but 3 weeks out from my debut, so end of the Chiefs season, like I was feeling real flat.
Yeah.
Like my anxiety was at a all-time high. I'd been sick. Early on, like I broke up with, as you do at 21, like girlfriend, and then had the Chiefs season. So I was like a little bit run down, had all that admin to deal with, and had the Chiefs season. So I was actually in a pretty bad state post that 2016 season, and this is how like life can change really quickly. But I went and saw a psychiatrist probably 4 to 3 weeks before my debut, and it was the week of I was going to the All Blacks camp, and he prescribed me with citalopram, 20 grams, and he knew what was sort of going on, which is like antidepressants and also helps with anxiety. And he said, you'll feel like your anxiety might go up for the first couple of days, and then in 2 to 3 weeks' time, you should start feeling really good. And it honestly couldn't have timed better, because probably the week before I debuted, it actually started kicking in.
Oh, shit.
And I actually, like, my anxiety went right down.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like it was just really good timing, like seeing the psychiatrist, and then going into the All Blacks season. But at the same time, like my anxiety did go down, but I also had the excitement of being an All Black. So like it's sort of like masks a lot of what was going on.
Yeah. What does that anxiety look like? Like, obviously everyone has some form of anxiety, but like, what does you at your peak anxiety look like?
Yeah, me at my peak anxiety looks like, and there was probably multiple times during that Chiefs season, in 2016, that like honestly thought I was going to die. Like you get into spin, like it was with my heart. So I'd get really short of breath. Like my heart rate would be through the roof.
Jeez.
And like you just couldn't like breathe properly. And I had it really well. Like there was a couple of times, like at training, like would be like at a clarity walkthrough, I'll just get through that and then go home and just go to my room and just like wait it out for a couple hours.
Having one of these attacks.
Yeah, having these panic attacks. Right. So, at that stage, I didn't really like tell anyone. I was getting them like before games, and stuff like that.
All right.
And at the start, it was like really overwhelming, but then you start knowing, like once you get through panic attacks and having those feelings, you still have it, but you understand that like if you wait it out for so long, like you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everyone's got anxiety, like, but obviously, yeah, if you got anxiety disorder,
yeah,
it's extreme. Like we all worry about something, but anxiety is, so like for me, it was like thinking about my breathing.
Yeah.
I'd be breathing normally, and then you just think, oh no, I'm not. And it just goes bang, bang, like it just spirals out of control. So Yeah.
What triggered it? Do you know what triggered it? What things were happening when it would go?
Nothing in particular.
Yeah.
But it was like I was obviously like between 18 and 21. Like I've rode that roller coaster. Me as a player, like I expected so much of myself. Always felt as though like I was a letdown. You know, like I was a chief at a young age, but never felt like I was good enough, or like always wanted the respect of others. Very like critical of my game, and then yeah, so that would trigger things, and I think it was just a 2-year cycle of just like trying to train really hard, not having good thoughts in my head, and eventually, you know, like a 2-year cycle of that just it's too much.
Yeah. So how'd you get out of it? You obviously took your medication and you made the All Blacks, but what do you think? What else helped for you to sort of break that cycle?
Yeah, in all honesty, like it took a 2-year period because, you know, I said like I took it and I actually felt real good that week and played my debut. I went to high, and I remember thinking like, it's just going to disappear. Like I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Like it's gone. Like I'm an All Black. Like everything I've been worrying about, it's going to disappear. And I remember waking up the next day, and we'd had a few beers, and I go into sleep happy as, like, that's good. We remember waking up the next day, and I was like, shit, like life's still pretty shit. Like I'm still dealing with this.
Yeah.
So got through it with the ABs and medication. Like it's good, but again, it's only like it's only a plaster. Like it helps, but it dries up the bleeding, but there's still a lot of stuff you got to do. So that's when I say like a 2-year period of changing my thought process of, you know, getting into a good lifestyle. You know, at 2 to 4 to even now, like, you know, it became like I've got to live a lifestyle. I've got to have thoughts that actually really help my anxiety. And I still have it today, but I'm in a much better place. I've got a lot more tools to manage it.
What are some of those tools that you've got? Like,
yeah, I think like being really clear, like structuring my week.
Yeah.
Like that makes me feel good. Even, you know, we got 2 months off. Yeah. I was actually, I got a new phone. Got the new phone. But
shout out to
no, this is not free. This cost me an arm and a leg. Shout out to Waterlad Podcast. Come in here, get a free phone.
Invoice me.
Yeah. But even, you know, over these last 2 weeks, our 2 weeks post World Cup, I didn't have a plan. Like I didn't know what I was doing for 2 months. There's a lot of things on.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it structured, and I was actually like feeling like anxious or like not great about it.
Yeah.
So 2 days ago, got my new phone, and like I've got a month and a half now of knowing what I'm actually doing, what days I have free.
Yeah.
And for me, like that gives me like a sense of you know, structure in my life, organization, knowing what I'm doing, and that helps my anxiety.
Yeah.
Things like sauna.
Yeah.
Even like, you know, when in season, like I'm not shy to have a beer or just live life. Like that's sort of my motto. Like over these 2 months, like very happy to be social and go out with my friends. Like why not? Like you can't do that for 10 months of the year.
Yeah.
Like make the most of it. Because when I was at my worst, I was very, you got to do this. Like you got to do your 30 minutes recovery.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's not going to be good enough. You got to do like it gets too much. Like now I'm a lot freer. I'm structured, but I'm structured in a good way.
Yeah. It sounds like you've got a really good balance in your weeks now around like having time for yourself. You love a game of golf. You've got a good golf group.
Yeah.
Like you said, you love a beer when the time's right. And it feels like you've sort of taken that pressure off just you've put on yourself to always feel like you had to outwork everyone because you always felt like you were never good enough.
Yeah.
But now you feel like you probably are. You know you're good enough now, and you can sort of just be a bit freer with your weeks and know that getting away from rugby's just as important as training hard.
Yeah, you're dead right, and that's probably like and it helps like being in good teams and like in good environments really helps. Like what Donk's doing at the Chiefs is it gives you a chance for balance. It gives you a chance to thrive. And I think the key you said there was like, and from 18 to 20, I was working my body and my mind into the ground.
Yeah.
Like I was like, well, I've got to work as hard as I can. And my expectation was if you don't play well, you're not good enough. And it was just like anyone's just gonna, anyone's just gonna burn out. It was in a sense I was burnt out.
Yeah. How would you do that differently if you went back to the young 18-year-old Anton? How would you approach it now?
Yeah, it's like I wish 18-year-olds could have 10 years of experience.
Yeah,
and I said this to someone today. I was just talking to my teacher and said I'm going on a podcast, but I could say something today, but in a year's time it could be slightly different because you're always growing, right? Yeah. But it'd probably be like, chill out, mate. Like you don't have to be an All Black, or you don't have to be the superstar on day one. Like, it used to really frustrate me, like that, like my passing wasn't as good, or like I couldn't kick as good, or whatever. Is like guys that had been around for 8 years. Like I was always, it was like me as a young kid, but I always wanted to do what someone else had done. Yeah, and I sort of judged myself on what they could do. Comparison was like my worst enemy. Yeah.
Mate, that's so fascinating. It's so cool to hear. And you did mention the Chiefs there with Donk and how you're going up there. You're obviously a proud Chiefs man. You've played over 100 games for them now. What are the special times that stand out for you in that Chiefs jersey, or what do they do so well?
Yeah, there's a lot of special times. Like I think in over a 10-year period, we've been on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
We've always made the quarters, semis, made a couple finals, haven't won the title, but it's through all the thick and thin. Like I just always felt like it's been a pretty genuine family. And obviously like the Māori culture is really strong up there, and like no matter what, like we've always been close, which has been, that's probably the thing that sticks out most. Like, like from 8 years ago or whatever, you're still mates with those guys. Like it's a special like family environment. And I think every team talks about family, but like some teams are actually genuine about it.
Yeah.
And as you'll know, probably the team that you coach.
Well, you guys last year were the form team of the competition all the way through. You had your home final sold out. Impressive. It was impressive year to watch, and then you come to that final and things again, like you spoke about at the Rugby World Cup. 1%ers just didn't go your way, and you didn't get the results. But what do you remember from that game? Obviously, you as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, remember running into Dallas McLeod's head, probably lucky not to get red-carded. So, probably got the rub of the green in that fact. But yeah, obviously, like extremely disappointing, especially as a senior player and you've been around for so long. And probably like the biggest, if I get the opportunity to go another final again, is during the week you had that sense of like, this is our time. And like it's not your time. Like, you gotta earn it. But like, you're like, oh, like surely Crusaders can't win 7 in a row.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time for us. Like, obviously you do all your work, but those are real false statements to make in your mind. And it's really hard during a finals week where there's a lot of hype to keep your thoughts level.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron Walsh, who's outstanding mental skills coach, but he always says, like, try to find the neutral. Like, obviously you got your negative, you got your positive, like, and if you're really positive, that's actually that's a false sense. What you're feeling, if you're negative, that's also a false sense.
Yeah.
Like, find the neutral.
Yeah.
And reflecting on it, and obviously we've reflected on it a lot. That's probably like my biggest learning, was like thinking, like, surely we can get this done. And then obviously I get yellow carded, these yellow cards and things are happening, and it's been a tough year.
Shit, I didn't realise a couple of tough finals to lose, like 2 1% finals.
Yeah.
When you're sitting on that, obviously they review it now, the yellow cards. When you're sitting on that in the bin, are you watching that big screen thinking, I'm done here, or what was your feeling?
And I was pretty dazed, eh?
Oh, true.
I was probably lucky to get away with one. But what I was actually thinking, and I had about 30 family there.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd flown from everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, geez, I hope this yellow card. We get recarded. About 20 family have flown up from Christchurch, from Australia, all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're going to be sitting there not watching me.
Yeah.
That was my initial thoughts. And then, obviously just praying that I get to go back on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously you did. You prayed hard enough.
Yeah.
But I can so relate to your thoughts going into that final. I feel like I was exactly the same, and I think our team was in 2015 when we lost and then won it the following year. But that same thought around, it's our time, we deserve it, we finished top, that same sort of feeling. But you've signed on till 2026. Yeah. So you got a couple more years in New Zealand rugby. What are your plans like? Obviously ambitious to still continue to be an All Black, and post 2026, do you eyes on another World Cup? Where's your mindset at?
Yeah, I love being an All Black.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I always say that you got to earn the right, and you absolutely do. So, like, I want to stick around, and obviously you got to play well in Super to get that opportunity, and that's what I want to do over the next 3 years. And obviously by 2026, I'll know whether I have a good chance going to the World Cup or not. And I guess for me, like, what I always say is that I don't want to be around, like, or be wasting New Zealand rugby's money or whatever if I'm not in contention for the All Blacks. So I think giving myself 3 years to do that is a good amount of time. Obviously, there's new coachings, there's new opinions, so you don't know what's in store. But obviously that will unfold in the next 1, 2, 3 years.
And I feel like every position has had a departure of certain players, but the midfielders just seems to have just added players. Like, no one's left. Yeah. Quinn and the likes are going to be back. Dallas had a big year last year. There's lots more names being added to the group. Something you've probably prided yourself on throughout your career is you've always had competition for those midfield spots, and you've always managed to fight them off and still be selected.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'm competitive in that fact. But I think, overall, like, there's nothing I love more than being named for the All Blacks or being a part of that environment. And it's the love. Like, it's obviously you want to start, but it's the fact, like, being in that environment. Like, that's what I want to do, and I've still got a lot of energy to give. And I know there's a lot of players. There's Geordie and Rico who played outstanding. And then all the names that you've named. So there's going to be a lot of people competing for those positions. But what I'll say is I'm in for the fight, and I've got the energy to do it.
Oh, I like that. And you're obviously good mates with Geordie as well. You're trying to convince him to move back to fullback, or Like you said, Rico was a world-class winger. Try and get him back to the wing, free up some more midfield spots.
Oh, nah. To be fair, like Donny, because we were real good mates.
Yeah.
And I think he was like maybe a little bit awkward because obviously I was injured in the fact, and he might have been like, oh, like, how's Anton going to find this? But like, I've got absolutely no qualms. Like, it's what's best for the team. Like, and they deserved to start. They had a great World Cup campaign, and that's not an issue for me. Like I always say, like, doesn't matter the competition that you have. Like, you can't ask favors of people. You can't ask favors of coaches. You've got to earn the right yourself.
Mate, that is such a cool mindset. You're a lad. And I'm keen to hear about your post-footy ambitions. This question came in as well from a few people, so I'm guessing it's pretty good.
How many questions did you get? You would have got some rogue
I
questions.
got thousands. I did, genuinely thousands. You're a popular man.
Oh.
But what are your post-footy ambitions? You got something lined up?
Yeah, like probably like initially would be sort of like property, like try get into property development.
Oh yeah.
Quite interested in trying to do that. Although I don't know a lot about it. I've got a couple mates that do it.
Yeah.
So
loaded as.
Well, some of them are loaded and some of them are not so much loaded, but yeah, that just like sort of excites me.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're taking risk.
Yeah. The gambler in you.
The gambler in me. But like, I think I'm really interested in like taking key values away from what you install in your rugby game and putting it into a business sense.
Yeah.
And trying to emulate that. Obviously, knowing that things are different, but yeah, like just working really hard to try to get a deal done or try to get something done, and either you either lose all your money or you don't. I won't be that silly.
Well, you spoke about that, and you've already done that with Grins as well. Like we've obviously had DMAC and Beaver on the podcast already. How have you found your Grins experience, and how's that tracking?
Yeah, thanks for the plug. No, Grins is going like well, and this time of the year is awesome. Like you can make a can tomorrow and sell like heaps of alcohol over these next 3 months because that's when everyone buys them.
Yeah.
But probably the best analogy is that, you know, for an RTD, it's like a pub. Like a pub can sell beers on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is the summer coming up. But it's actually how you get through the Sunday to Wednesday that you struggle. So that's why the brand's really important to build up. So you get through those winter months and people are still buying your drinks, so you're not broke by the time summer comes around again. Yeah. But no, it's been ticking along really well. Like I've got to give credit to Beaver because he does a heap of amount of work. He's got all the IQ of the business. Yeah. I couldn't tell you too much about it other than taking photos of Damo and plugging it on Instagram. So
social media.
We won't get into depth, but Beaver tells me it's going well, and I don't have the papers to see if it is or not.
Well, Beaver says it's going well. It's going well, 100%.
Yeah.
You're right. Around the summertime of the year, it's everyone seems to have a Grins in their hand. If it's not a Grins, it's a Spate. So
Spate summer.
Yeah. Oh,
really good.
Yeah, good. Okay. We will get to the questions, mate. We got, like I said, thousands. I've had to narrow it down to a few. But first one is, what did Whopper do to you in your first year at the Chiefs? I'm interested to hear this one.
Yeah, obviously I've seen the questions and I chuckled at this one. It's actually your brother Tojo. You would have played this many times with him, but it's bullshit.
Oh yeah. That is a tough game, eh?
Yeah, but Tojo made the 1 to obviously 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like you ended up on like 2 beers if you lost one. I was at 18 years old. Believe it or not, I had about 38 skinnies. Had nothing on me. Could only have 5.
Mate, you weren't eating more condensed milk. You need to get a bit more of that.
Could only have 5 beers before I fell over. I'm pretty sure I lost that game. all the time. I think I was at that young kid, keep calling bullshit, and then everyone keep picking on me.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what I did, but I was getting, obviously had a few.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you want to puff your chest up, just have a few beers. That makes you feel better about yourself. I must have got smart, and Waffers ended up tying me to a tree and leaving me there for a couple of hours. So I want to see like 2 hours. I've obviously had a few. I'm just like sitting there tied to a tree, like just pleading them to untie me.
What are you tied with? A rope?
A rope, yeah.
Genuine rope to a tree.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that is good stuff.
Cheers, Daisy.
Classic Whopper, though, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, next one. Why haven't you gotten any better at golf in the last 5 years? Probably worse. And there was a lot of comments about your golf game.
Yeah, I bet there was.
Disrespecting you too.
Yeah, disrespect. Oh, the thing is, sometimes when you're good at something, people like to hate it.
Yeah. Tall poppy syndrome. They love to knock you down.
I would like to add note, because I know Ryan Coxon would have sent plenty through.
He did. He sent 3 or 4.
We played Harewood today, and I match play. I beat him on the 15th hole. So
wow.
Thanks for your 5 comments through, Coxie.
Yeah, mate. He sent them before today,
yeah,
so he'd probably be taking all of those back right now.
Yeah, he'd be back in his shell. But why haven't I got better? I've pondered on this one. So in the last 5 years, I've probably played, let's say 40 games a year. So that's 200 games of golf.
Yeah.
I've practiced, had about 5 practice rounds, or like 5 hours of practice in 5 years, over 200 rounds. So as you know, you're a great coach. What would you be telling a player that's played 200 rounds for only 5 hours practice?
Right.
How do you think you're going to get better if you don't practice?
What are you going to do? Are you going to start practicing, or are you even ambitious to get better, or?
Not really.
Nah,
I just love going out there, smacking the ball. Other thing is I'm really impatient. So, like, I hate slow golf. I hate practice swings.
Yeah.
Because I just want to hit the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I probably should go practice, but
you're learning as you're playing.
I'm about
I would have thought
index 15 handicap.
Yeah.
I'll go out to about anywhere between 15 and 18, depending on how hard the course is. Obviously, you play guys with the handicap. Like, when the handicap system's there, you
don't need to get better.
No. I'm not there to go on the PGA Tour. I'm just here to hit a golf ball and have fun with my mates.
Who's off the lowest handicap at the moment out of the All Black boys?
Geordie Barrett.
Is he? What's he playing off now?
Oh, he'd be at a 1.
Is he?
Yeah. He's seriously good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those freakish athletes. Like, he's 6'4". He's fast. He plays in the backs, and he's obviously skillful.
Yeah.
For him, like, probably size to like speed, power, skill ratio, he's probably like the best athlete you could come across.
Wow, the greatest athlete in the world, the GOAT, Geordie Barrett.
No, he's not LeBron, not LeBron James. not LeBron James.
New Zealand's LeBron.
New Zealand. Let's just say North Island. And then we can extend it out to the south. Yeah.
Well, that brings up another one. Would you consider yourself a North Islander or a South Islander?
Oh, South Islander.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Well, Christchurch,
still home.
a Christchurch person, not a Canterbury or Crusader.
Yeah.
I actually say I'm a Christchurch Boys High student.
Christchurch Chief
and high school old boys. Yeah.
But you played for the North in that Northwest South, did you? Or
yeah. We actually had because a few of us were getting vocal about it and had quite a lengthy conversation with Fozzie about how it works and how we had to play for the North.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess our first provincial rugby side was Waikato. So traditionally, like, you should play for the North. But like back in those days, it was the whole rugby dynamic was way different.
Yeah.
But I think everyone that had to cross code, like Geordie wanted to play for the North, which is like, how can you have two Barretts in one team and one Barrett? Like, he wanted to play for the North. Dale and I wanted to play for the South.
Yeah.
Nepo should have played for the North. Like,
I reckon it should have just been choose. You know who you're affiliated to. You can choose who you feel like you've got the connection with the most, because it was pretty weird. I remember pranking Mitch Hunt about it, because I know he wasn't a North Islander. He played like one game for Auckland or something, and then had to represent the North. So good answer. Okay, next one. Ask him about the time he got knocked out sparring.
Oh yeah, I know where this one's come from. It's my good mate, Meat Paddy, Patrick Cooley.
Meat Paddy, what a lad!
What a lad! He's actually a lad.
Yeah, with a name like that.
Yeah. We actually, we had like a triple garage, and we sort of made I think it was rounds. Like it was like we're just going like minute rounds.
Oh yeah.
And do you feel like Meat Paddy is like a bit of like a teddy bear?
Yeah.
But he's an absolute lad. So he's a couple of years older than me, but if you could imagine it, it was like he's quite a solid boy, but I was like young. It was like Butterbean versus Floyd Mayweather. And so like Butterbean's like, he's like facing, so he's got this back to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like punching on the side, like just going hard, like a wee featherweight versus a heavyweight would go. And like, I haven't realised that he's like slowly like turning around, because I'm just going hard, and he's just coming like haymaking and hit me straight in the face. And I don't know if you've ever had like concussions in rugby, but like you can like remember, like you can sort of, I can still remember him, like his like hand hitting me. We did have gloves on, and like probably like stumbled like 4 meters backwards and just went like to the floor.
True.
Didn't get fully knocked out. Yeah. I was on the floor.
That is brutal. Put you off boxing, or would you ever box or get in the ring, fight for life or anything?
Like I'd love the challenge. I'd love the walkout, but
the walkout and walk back.
Yeah, can I just walk out and walk back? Maybe like walk out, like pretend to like pull your car. Nah, I'd like to give it a go, but like I am very unorthodox. I'm quite a Gumby, so I'd find it hard. I'd find it like I'm doing like 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff for me. Like, so I'd give it a go, but I'd hate to see me swinging in the ring.
I'd love to see you have a rematch with Meat Paddy, mate.
Let's make this happen. What about what a lad?
Fight for life.
Fight for life. Meat Paddy versus ALB.
Oh, that'd sell out for sure. And this is the next one, actually. Who would win in a UFC fight, you or Daniel? That would be another one to pay-per-view. Jeez, I'd pay for this one. In a cage.
Pound and ground. Well, we'll see, be a bit quicker than him. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
He'd beat you, but you get your sister to beat
can we do that?
Tag team.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Best player that you've played with?
Man, and this is probably why I love being part of the All Blacks environment, because like I realise I'm not the most talented player, but man, like some players you get to play with are just like phenomenal, you know, like athletes, and I feel very like privileged to be there, and I'm not like underselling myself. Like you got to work hard, and I'm good at the strengths of my game, but like I wish I could do some things that they do, you know. Like I'm trying, like I'm gritting my teeth to do like a box jump, and I just like I'm 2 legs though, 1 leg. But best player I've played with. Oh man, it's tough, but probably over like a long period of time, because I played a lot of Super Rugby with them. Like as a forward, it'd be Guzzler, like just phenomenal, and as a back, and I could say this about a lot of All Blacks backs, but it would be Damon McKenzie.
Yeah,
just being on the field, like for Waikato, for the Chiefs, and for the All Blacks, and we all see him do freakish things.
Yeah.
Which that Bodie and your Richies and Reeks and Geordie and Mark Talias can do, and all that carry on. But just because I've been with him the longest, just does some freakish things.
Mate, he is a freak, eh? He was. You probably didn't, especially back into that World Cup, thought he was going to have a bit more of an involvement in it.
Yeah.
But looking forward to him potentially getting more of the reins next year with Richie going. So exciting one to watch. Okay, next one, biggest win on the punt.
Biggest one on the punt.
Coming off the back of Paul Eiffel's episode.
Yeah. I actually I won $4 million. No, that's actually sad. Sorry, Paul Eiffel. Paul, thanks for talking out, because to be fair, like as competitors, like there's not many rugby players that don't get addicted to something in some way, and obviously, what I compare like punting with is like probably a thrill that is close to maybe running out, or like playing rugby. Like picking a winner is like, man, that's a good thrill, and
winding at home.
It's probably the only thing that could be close to the thrill we get playing rugby. So that's maybe why we like it so much, or some people do. But biggest win on the punt, it's actually in 2019, and I was at a cafe with Brad Weber in Japan. It was during Bronze final week.
Yeah.
And I'd done like maybe 2 to 3 hours of reading up about the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
And I read, there's probably like 20 different columns. Like everyone gives their expertise. And Val de Clear, like I took a real liking to. Like I just had a feeling, and I mean, I've had plenty of feeling. But this is probably the only time that my good feeling come through. But I said to Spud, like, man, I want to go hard on this horse. So obviously we'd been away for a long time, so we're getting the weekly fees. But it's not something that's going to pull Eiffel. We're going to blow your mind down. But I put 500 each way on Val and Declare, paying, I think it was like 13s and 4s.
Oh,
and the most impressive thing about its win was about 200 metres to go down the Flemington Straight, another horse took it over. So I was like, oh man, like I'm going to get my place. So I'm going to get about $2,000.
Yeah.
And it's just mowed it back, and it's won by a head. So I don't know, we'll get about 8K.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was, on the punt.
You would have been winding that home from way back.
Yeah. And it was quite funny because didn't like, and my partner at the time, like, she knew I was watching the Melbourne Cup, but she didn't know how much I had on.
Yeah.
So I was like jumping up and down. She doesn't know that I've just won $8,000. so then I, obviously if I lost, you don't say anything. Proceeded to tell her, let's go out for dinner.
Good stuff. Okay, next one. Teammate who can drink the most without getting sloppy. This guy predicted Sam Whitelock.
Ooh. Sammy Whitelock. Okay. love the bloke, but I wouldn't put him in drinking a lot. Maybe because he drank the least, or he's a great man. But there's a few guys in it. Still a bit annoying. Honestly, I'd put Tojo in there.
Oh wow,
probably yourself.
Brad Weber gave him a good shout out too.
And in terms of someone that can enjoy a beer and consume quite a lot of them, your brother can, and I've never actually had a drinking session with you, so I don't know.
Mate, I'm just as good, trust me.
So I'd say Tojo, but then like Damo, Geordie, Bodie, like your Reeks, other blokes,
it's the crew.
Any of the Fijian boys, they drink and they lose weight.
Yeah.
And that annoys me. Now I got to drink and go for a run. Those guys are drinking and going to McDonald's just to put it back on.
The condensed milk cost you. It started you early.
It did. Man, can we go back?
Okay, 2 more. Hardest player to tackle.
Ooh, hardest player to tackle. Probably Matanonu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah. And he's like, you know, like a beast. Like, he's known as a power runner, but with his footwork, but also the ability to pass. So he just, like, to me, he was, well, and obviously, like, growing up watching him and then playing against him, like, he's the best midfielder to play the game just because he had it all, really.
Yeah. He's incredible. Hey, what about Mark Taylor? Talk to me about Mark. How's he breaking so many tackles? He's slippery, eh?
I don't know. Like,
give me some of that.
Give me some of that, man. Give me 10% of that. Oh, he's freakish. Like the numbers he gets through in the game is just like insane. Like, I don't know, like. And we're talking about it in the semi, or maybe like it was the third and fourth playoff. So this Argentinian 6 had the most like tackle busts for a loose forward. And I don't know, Sammy Kane was talking about it, and he was on like 14. And in the semi final, Mark Taylor beats 14 players in one game. So you got a player that's played about 8 who's broke the most for a loosey, and Mark Taylor just does it in one, like he just blows out the stats sheet like nothing else.
Yeah, it's freakish, eh? Mate, you can break a tackle. Okay, last one. Best piece of advice you have for a Woodland listener? Oh yes. Got a lot up my sleeve now.
Probably, it's caught me off guard a bit, but like I'll go off my gut, and I was actually talking about this today, but and I'll give you the story, but behind it, but I was talking to an old teacher of mine about sort of mental health and things like that, and he said he's been like helping people like in his family and stuff like that, which is great. Like, we all need a good support network, but like the most important, like, or the best way to make a shift in your life is for yourself, like internally, to make a shift. Like, like you can't rely on others to make a difference for you. Like, obviously it's important to have people around you, like have a good network, and like I'm a mental health advocate, and it's really important to check on your mates. But as a support network, you can only do so much. So what I'd say as an individual, you know, like work on yourself and make changes. And if you are struggling, it is tough, but the one person that can make it better is yourself. And it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but it could be in a month's time. And it's really important when you are struggling when you are struggling, that you work on yourself and you get better. And it's like those habits that like they slowly build up over time. So I'm going on a massive tangent.
It's so good though. Keep going.
But it is the person that's gonna make the biggest change in your life is the person you look in the mirror. So in tough times, like, people are going to help you externally. You are going to have a support network, but they can only do so much. So make sure you make the changes, you make the shifts inside yourself, and that's how you're going to get better.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And obviously you've been through that, so you know better than most, and hearing you speak about it, so powerful and so cool to hear you share and speak so openly and honestly. And mate, really appreciate you coming on the podcast, mate. It's been a long time coming, but what a journey, what an absolute lad you are. So all the best with what's next for you. Keep keep going with the grins, and look forward to your property business in a few years and another Rugby World Cup.
Going to buy one now, I'll put you on the list.
Oh, man.
Deposit, mate.
What a lad.
What a lad. $100,000 for 10% deposit. We'll get you in signed now.
We're in. But no, I appreciate you coming on, mate. It's been awesome.
Thanks heaps. Cheers, brother.
You're a lad.